Hello, friends, and happy Friday to you. How's everyone doing tonight? It's great to be here. It's a rainy day here, and I'm happy it's Friday. So let's just leave it at that. How are we all doing? So let's see. We got quite a few folks assembled here. I was trying to keep up with the chat in the past minute or so while I was waiting for this to start, and it was more than I could actually get fully comprehended. Probably says more about me than the number of people here, but anyway, it's great to see you guys. So let's, I'm going to have to scroll back quite a bit, and there's my buddy Poem, Paul Rapp, John Britt, there's Pepe, good to see you guys, David Bookshop, Gary Edminster, Tiago, and Smoking Sayed. Good to see y'all. I think we're out there. Flint Hill Briar, Michael Case. Just here to show the colors. Always good to see you guys. Matthew Robinson. Happy weekend to you, sir. And Cypress Piper, Big Country Briar. Great to see you, Cole. Plane crash into a mole in a residential area in Philly. How close, Mike? Somewhere I'm close to Philly. But I didn't see that. I just saw someone else just sent me a message saying, hope that crash wasn't near you or something, and I didn't have a chance to look it up. But yeah, not close enough that I heard anything. Jeffrey Feinberg, good to see you. If somebody wants to tell me what crashed, I'd be very interested. There's Backcountry Pipe, Billy Piper, Chris Goat. Coming in fast here, guys. Trying to keep up. Signal Man Tony from Rhode Island. David S. David S? David made me get my glasses out. David G. Sorry, I don't know how I got an S out of that. Lower Alabama. Good to see you, David. Dryfly Fisher 11. Rich Billick. Good evening. And there's Ochoita. My goodness, we got a lot of folks here already tonight. So good to see you all. Good to be relaxing this evening and enjoying a pipe. After what seemed like a rather fast week, to be honest. This week just flew by. So can't complain about that, unless of course you didn't want it to fly by. And I did stay pretty busy. Work was keeping me pretty busy this week, and all good stuff. No complaints. Gary says when he's retired, every day is Friday. I don't know if I'd like that, Gary. I'd rather have every day be Saturday, I think. There's the Smooth Piper. Good evening to you, Peter. Do have strong winds here, asks Hillbilly Piper. We've had some wind, but nothing like remarkably strong there, Donnie. Ronnie Ewing is here. Good to see you, Ronnie. The Smooth Piper's got Haunted Bookshop in his Friday Savinelli. Did I say that I have Haunted Bookshop in the Matches Memorial Friday Savinelli, as is the tradition here on the Friday night live stream? I hope I did. If not, I just did. Ronnie's been skateboarding. My goodness. Jumbo J, good evening to you. Good to see you, sir. And there's Bob Krause. Hello. James Steidle. Always good to see old friends and new friends. And there's Couch. Ilva is watching you eat a hamburger? Well, where's Ilva's hamburger? My goodness, Couch. I mean, no wonder she's watching you. She's waiting for her hamburger. WKR Piper. Good to see you, Odie. And I suppose we should get ourselves a beverage. Glenn O'Brien is trying first bowl of Elizabethan mixture and says it's good stuff. Good for you there, Flannel. Ron Hardcrackers, good evening. Tonight, we're going to go simple. Keeping it simple. Mainly because if I drink much more than this, in terms of alcohol content, I will be asleep. I'll fall asleep right in front of you. I don't know why, I just got home from work tonight and just wanted to go to sleep. We ate dinner and I did just go to sleep. I've developed this bad habit of taking a nap after dinner, which is only a bad habit in that I then sleep for an hour and then can't sleep when it's time for me to actually go to sleep. So I wound up staying up way too late. Then I have to get up early and, well, you know how it is. Cheers. But I am looking forward to getting a good night in tonight. Good night's sleep in tonight. Big Dave, good to see you, Dave. And did Smarty Bob come in? I missed him. There's Smarty Bob. Good to see you, Bob. White Knuckle MTB. Is it normal for new pipe smokers to go through mouth discomfort irritations? If so, does it get better? Not really tongue bite, but just irritation. I'd say that's fairly normal, White Knuckle, but maybe some other folks want to weigh in as well. Often has to do with your smoking cadence, and also can have to do with the blend you're choosing, but more often than not, it's just a matter of your mouth's either drying out or getting a little bit stung from the heat of the steam. If you're smoking too fast and you're getting condensation, which can turn to steam. David G's got some Peter Stokkebye Luxury Bullseye Flake in his Peterson System pipe. That's nice. #001 Lukester, good to see you tonight, buddy. This is a weird evening for me, guys, because normally I've got one or two things that I'm thinking, oh, I could talk about that, I could talk about. I'm actually kind of in a blank slate tonight. I've got absolutely nothing on my mind, which is terrible, but it's just happy to be here, and it's been an uneventful week. Finally, it's been a long time since I've been able to say that. So. Oh, there you go. David G is recommending Biotine mouthwash, and yes, that definitely does work. I remember trying that back in the day and being impressed with it. And I know I've seen other folks attest to the same, so. I have no idea what's in Biotine, but it seems to work. Chris, are you asking me how many bowls a day? I don't count, but it varies quite a bit depending on whether I'm working or not. And yeah, it might be 3 or 4, it might be 7 or 8. Usually it's probably somewhere in the middle there, 5 or 6. Thank you, Ball. Yes, if y'all wouldn't mind pressing the like button, helps out the community. Would appreciate it. George Tiedemann, happy Friday to you. I'm not sure about the pH of Biotine foam, but it's definitely got a I hate to say it coats your mouth because that makes it sound like it's real heavy or anything, but it does. It's I don't want to say too much about it because it's been so long I don't really remember, but for some reason I'm thinking something about egg whites. Maybe it's got albumin in it, and that's why I'm thinking egg whites. I don't know, but there's something in it that does more than just clean, but it also leaves behind a protective layer, but not anything that you really notice. Yeah. Yes, Backcountry Pipe. Cliff, you all haven't seen it. Cliff put out a very nice video remembering our buddy matches this week. Ochoito's got some GH Dark Flake and a Graybow Prince. That's nice stuff. Yeah, Cliff is a fine fellow there. Ah, Michael Case. What an interesting question. Did I run into any difficulties when my wife came back from Pittsburgh? I mean, as much as I missed her while she was gone, it's not like she was, she would still come back into town for a week or so. So it's not like we were separated for a year. Um, yeah, but it's I get used to putting the dishes in the cabinet in a particular way, or putting the silverware in the drawer in a particular way, and she doesn't put it that way. This kind of things happen, sure, but that's all good. I mean, heck, after you've been with somebody for 26 years in our case, taking a few months off shouldn't change that much. If you open a 10-year plus tin, do you have to smoke it right away? Um, well, smoke it or put it in a jar. I mean, as long as you store it properly, it'll last another 10 years. No more paint to clean up since that last incident, no. Although I still haven't done the painting that I was supposed to do. I did get the new base of the cabinet put in, so that's all done, but just haven't gotten around to painting it, so tomorrow. Lukester's got a new Savinelli Bosco 202. Not familiar with that shape. Tiny, but he's liking it so far, and he's got some haunted bookshop in that. I'll have to look that one up, Lukester. Pepe wants to know, anyone have advice on pipe making? Um, it's fun. What kind of advice you want, Pepe? Oh no, couch. I'm telling you, those cats are evil. They were just waiting for the opportunity. Ah, small, slim apple shape. Gotcha, Rich. Actually, if you like that shape, stick around for my second pipe this evening. It will be similar. Lord Hogarth. Yeah, I picked up a couple things. I got an old Stanley, was it 95 butt gauge, and I got a couple of spoke shapes. Nothing I needed, but it's funny, Michael. The dogs just kind of got used to her not being around, and then she came in, and they were really excited for about 10 minutes, and then it was just all back to normal. They're very flexible. Patrick Grant, good to see you tonight. No, I did not get a pipe from Chris Harriet. Rich, he certainly makes nice pipes, though I wouldn't be opposed to picking one up someday, but have not done so yet. Jumbo J has got his Sir Jacopo Hawkbill with some Rattray's Westminster. Very nice. I don't think I've had Rattray's Westminster. Had a lot of Rattray's Brenzone. That one doesn't strike a bell? Ring a bell? I don't remember that one. Dremel and ultra saw and drills, files, sandpaper, and stains. Just wanted best advice on starting the first pipe making. Well, with those tools, Pepe, I would highly recommend you get a pre-drilled stummel with a fitted stem and give that a shot first and see how you like working with briar, because it is a unique wood. I mean, some other folks might be able to chime in, but that would be my advice. I mean, I think most people benefit from getting one of those pre-drilled stummel stem combinations, and you can get those from Vermont Freehand. I think Raw Crafted has them. They might even sell them on like Pipes and Cigars or places like that now. And you know, it just lets you try your hand at it. Some folks do that once and they're happy. Other folks catch the bug that way and they're out buying briar and everything else. But yeah, as Rich is saying, if you don't have a lathe, it's going to be pretty difficult. Not impossible, but probably best to start with one of the kits and see if you like it. Big Dave, what is the underlying flavor of Mixture 79? Are we going to have that argument again? A butt gauge should measure the same as the Richter scale. Yeah. That would be my suggestion, Pepe, would be to start with a pre-drilled block. Yeah. Doug Owen, good to see you tonight. And creator of the Boundless Universe, I don't think I said hello to you yet. Sad, you're coming to the States in April? Very nice. Cypress Piper says Westminster is a good, straight, no-nonsense medium English. Doug Owen is saying that Mixture 79 is anise, licorice. I doubled the anise there. Unless you're one of the people that believe it's vanilla or root beer. That's the problem. It does lead to some discussion. I think the official flavoring might be anise. I get more vanilla out of it than anything, to be honest. Yeah, Rich, I don't know if I'd go so far as to say it's a necessity. I mean, there are some professional pipe makers that do not use a lathe. But if you're going to follow the path that most people take, I think it's probably going to make your life a lot easier, yeah. And don't be fooled into thinking you have to get a metal lathe. You can do quite a bit with a wood lathe, and they're much less expensive, and you build, I think, much more useful skills with a wood lathe. Justin, good to see you. Loading a Peterson 221 with Gentleman Caller. Found out he's a fan of Deertown. There you go. Always good to have another fellow fan of Deertown. At least it is not grape. That's a benefit there, Doug. Phil Rivera, how you doing, Phil? Same question, but think half and half. So what is half and half? That's a tough one for me. I mean, I think half and half has a very definitive licorice flavoring to it, but it's very light. Maybe somebody that smokes more half and half than I do will want to chime in on that. Rich, does anyone think Cornell and Deal might pick up the Mixture 79 rights? I highly doubt that. Seattle Pipe Club, I don't know. I don't know. I honestly don't think the market for either of those is big enough. I mean, that's why they're not being made. And Cypress Piper's chalking it up to a lack of production capacity, maybe, maybe. But I just don't think there'd be commercial interest in it, which is unfortunate. Big Dave, you should try that. I think a 5-axis CNC milling machine would make a fine pipe. Andrew Sirigliano, happy Friday to you. Snowy Vermont, hey. Hope you're keeping warm there, Andrew. Phil, I've been coveting a milling machine for years now, and I don't think I'm ever going to do it. It's one of those tools that I will need like twice a year, and I use the word need very loosely. I will use twice a year. But boy, there are those 2 times a year when I think, gee, if I had a mill, it would be really nice to have one. Chris Coate asked, I like the way you phrased this. Is Cornell and Deal a big company, or are they only in the USA? So you can't be a big company and be only in the USA. They are I don't know how to say how big they are. They're a reasonably sized company in the tobacco world. Do I think the groundhog will see his shadow? My guess would be right. Would be yes. Would be yes. Yeah, Phil, I've thought about that, but I don't know. Milling on the lathe. It just seems like more trouble than it's worth. I mean, most of what I've needed to do, I could do with a file by the time I get things set up on the lathe. Oh, that's a great idea. Andrew, would you do that for us? Would you record a video of you doing your best White Christmas Bing impersonation? I think that would be really wonderful. Yeah, Jumbo, I've seen talk of places like that, creator spaces or fab labs or things like that where you can rent time on a CNC or a mill or whatnot. I've never actually seen one. Doesn't mean they don't exist. I don't know of any in my area, but I haven't really looked either. But that's not a bad idea. If you just need that one thing done every once in a while, you just go in and rent it. Of course, you could always pay a machine shop to do it too, but that usually is cost prohibitive for a hobby. There you go, Phil. I can't say I know that one, Rich. I mean, I know George Benson, but not well enough to know albums. I'm trying to remember. Didn't Cornell and Deal just last year make a deal with one of the European companies to blend for them? Maybe I'm remembering that wrong, but I thought there was some news about that. Ronnie's listening to the Romani Rye. Sounds like a gypsy folk band. Oh yes, Andrew. Yes. Sorry you missed the show. I didn't go either. It was too close to the Midwestern Tool Collectors Association show. James Title's having some velvet in his Peterson Bulldog, Army Bulldog. Nice. There you go, Rich. That's a great career for you. Oh, that's right, Doug. Yes, it was K&K, and yeah, there were all the logistics with the tins and stuff. I remember that now. Creator, are you having Toscano cigars, or are you recommending Toscano cigars? There's Sailor with some Shandygaff in a Briarworks. Good to see you tonight, Sailor. Oh, was that the deal, Patrick? So, gonna make HU stateside and make Haunted Bookshop in Germany. Hopefully, in addition, make Haunted Bookshop in Germany. That's okay, Gary. Considering most of Tyson's fights didn't last a minute, it's about par for the course for him. Ah, they've got 3 new blends using Toscano Dark Fired, Michael. I see. And Andrew's got some, what was that? Haunted Bookshop and an old school J. Mouton pot. Nice. It is good on a cold night, isn't it? Billy Bud Blonde in a Cobb says, that first, yeah, I gotta put my glasses back on. You folks with your names I can't see for whatever reason. Oh, it's because you got an interesting font there, First Person Smoker. Well, good to see you tonight, and hope you enjoy that Billy Bud Blonde. The only type of Billy Bud I like. Steve, good to see you, Steve. So the cop had to import the C&D tobacco in bulk and tin the blends in Germany. Yeah, I remember it was really crazy, some of the problems they ran into. Red Morrison, skipping the pipe tonight, but had some Pegasus in the car this morning. Very nice. Chris Cote is asking, are you asking favorite H&H blend from MB? I'm not sure what MB is there, Chris. Creators having haunted bookshop in a Punto Oro 673. Nice. Andrew says he's interested in trying the C&D Toscano Maestro Puccini. It's the only one with Kentucky end cigar. Ron Hardcrackers has a Brecken Heffenweise beer from Aldi and Sutliff Rum Raisin in a black and white speckled painted yellow bowl. Tweed apple. Tweed was a line that was painted with textured paint like the 1960s car trunks. Oh, cool. You're a good man, first person smoker. Says he likes haunted bookshop. Patrick's got haunted bookshop in his Friday Savinelli with Natty Daddy. I got a beverage, Patrick. We're going with just good old traditional Yingling lager tonight. Rich says he's only familiar with the Tweed Fender amps. I'm only familiar with the leather patch Tweed jackets. That's not true. I mean, I had one, but it was a long time ago. Phil's having a black Bew porter. Oh, Butte. Gotcha. Nothing like a good porter. Rich says he likes Old Dark Fire, but the Burley Flake is great, and he's going to miss it. Oh, did Alec have a yellow bowl tweed? Okay. Gary still misses Flying Dutchman. Yeah, and that's one where the matches just weren't good, in my opinion. Me too, David. I think Haunted Bookshop's great for breaking in pipes. But I think the best thing for breaking in pipes is just something you know well, so that you know when it's broken in. Are we already at the bottom of this bowl? Oh, interesting, Rich. I did not know that about, I don't know almost anything about electric guitar amplifiers, other than they amplify electric guitars. Chris Webber, it was a, you know, I'd like to get a leather jacket with tweed patches. That would be kind of cool. Uh, Professor Fonzarelli. Probably a good investment, Phil. Discontinue McBaron. And if it doesn't sell, you could always, oh, I was gonna say smoke it, but you don't want to do that. Sorry, guys, it was a joke. The three guys that like McBaron, I'm sorry. Is there a Cornell and Deal blend that's a good alternative to Edgeworth Ready Rubbed? Interesting question, Flint Hill. Nothing comes to mind. I mean, I'd probably say one of the Burley Flakes is probably the closest you're going to get. Homer Simpson had one, Chris. I didn't know that. That's great. I think Fonzie did become a teacher at one. He was teaching like auto shop or something. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, Phil. I'd like to say I like the McBaron flavors, but even that, the topping not only bites, but I would taste it really strong on everything. They all pretty much tasted the same to me. Yeah, the Hearth and Home Burley cake, I never really could get into that, Rich. That's another one that had a topping on it, in my opinion, that just didn't taste right to me. Yeah, Phil, those are all excellent Burley flakes, but I don't think any of them have that Edgeworth flavor. Edgeworth had that sort of old style, um, what's the word I'm looking for? That old time flavor to it that I don't think those blends capture. But they're all good Burley flakes. Gary's leather does that say Cal? CCW ready. Hmm. Any jacket Piper said where's is a smoking jacket? Yeah, I think it was Peter asked if anybody had a smoking jacket. I've got smoking shirts, but I always forget to wear them, so every shirt is a smoking shirt. Red Morrison, there are people that really like the Haunted Bookshop cake. I think it just loses flavor compared to regular Haunted Bookshop. I was really surprised by how kind of bland it was, in my opinion, but there are people that like it. Flint Hill says he discovered last summer that he loves lightly chocolate-topped Burleys. It's a good combination when it's done right. And Edgeworth definitely had a cocoa aspect to it. And that's what I don't think is captured in things like the Solani or the cobblestone hiking. Yeah, Sailor, I mean, that's the way I feel too. I just, the McBaron blends were just too harsh for me. I mean, if we're going to all get silk smoking jackets for the Ohio show, Cole, I think we also need to get fezzes, smoking fezzes. It's only fair. You're absolutely right, Phil. That's one of the most wonderful things about pipe smoking in general is that nobody ever seems to agree on anything, and it means we're all different, and that's wonderful. Michael's asking, did anyone order one of the tobaccos that's going away only to be told it was sold out and not available anymore, gone for good? I'm sure that's happened, Michael. Creator, you're asking me to recommend a one that's done right, and I'm gonna struggle with that in terms of a chocolate cocoa topping. I mean, my go-to would have been to say Edgeworth, but that's not really fair. No, Rich, I'm never going to do it without my no. Those Kramer's blends are good stuff, Andrew. Yeah, and Danny K is a good one. Pumpkin with a cup on top. That's great, Lord Ogarth. Amphora Burley was a nice one, Chris. Yeah. Yeah, I assume Edward G is part of that, Steve. Yep. Front duck, hello. TGIS indeed. We're not speciesist, front duck. We accept birds, dogs, cats, whatever. Although we try to keep the cats in one section. But other than that, yeah, anything goes. I have a tin of Bob's chocolate flake that I've had for gotta be 15 years now. Never opened it, Andrew. So someday I'm gonna have to get that one out. I don't think C&D sourced from Sutliff Sailor. I could be wrong about that, but I think they pretty much bought their leaf directly from growers. Or they buy their leaf directly from growers. Cube Cut Burley is good stuff, Chris, regardless of where it comes from. I've never had bad Cube Cut Burley. The Smooth Piper's got an open tin of Bob's chocolate flake too. Well, maybe we should do a co-opening at some point, Peter. That's what I thought, Doug. So Doug says that Cornell and Deal buys all their leaf direct. Yeah. So that keeps them safe and they appear to be profitable. So unless the farms start going under, we should have Haunted Bookshop for some time. Is that true, Ron? I did not know that. So Ron's saying Mrs. Howe lived the last couple of years of her life as a housemate with Mary Ann as her caregiver. Well, that is sweet. I might, Ochoita, if it's not too heavy, and plus it's aged quite a bit, so a lot of key has probably mellowed quite a bit. Yeah, she seemed like a pretty well-grounded woman, Rich. I agree. Yeah, Ron, I hope it is true. It's a great story. Let's just believe it regardless. Ras on Wheels, 1-to-4 ratio. Good to see you, Ras. Peretti has some of the best Burleys. They do have some good Burleys. And somebody will come along and say, yeah, but they probably got them from, you know, and now where are they going to get them from? And I don't know. Can you imagine Raquel Welch's ginger? That would have been something, Lord Hogarth. Packed that a little too far. We got some hard packed ash now. Yeah, that's tough. Thought I might get one more puff out of it, but no. Haunted Bookshop is done. Oh, I think Peretti will survive, Doug. I mean, it might go through some changes. It did when McClellan shut down. You know, they lost some blends, but they got some new ones eventually to replace them. I'm sure that Peretti will survive. Might change a bit. You know, heck, Peretti's older than most of the companies we're talking about. Oh, Couch, I'm fresh out of Clan. Chris, I think most folks would say Burley does not change with age. Burley blends do change with age. So, you know, things like on a bookshop, not so much in my experience, but Old Joe Krantz definitely, because of the higher Virginia content, does change. And if you ever get a chance to age some Weybridge from Four Noggins, that stuff is amazing after a couple of years. Which Peretti Burley would you recommend? I've been looking at them for a while, says Red Morrison. I personally, I don't think you can go wrong with their Cuban mixture. That's probably my favorite Peretti blend. You like the Oxford Flake, Doug? I liked their, I think it was called Scottish Flake, which was the red wine one. And when that disappeared, I joked that it was a McClellan blend, but they ran out of regular vinegar and had to use red wine vinegar, which people got mad at me for. But it is indeed the last night for Samson and Delilah. Patrick, yes. So next week we do the next tobacco of the month. Very exciting. Very exciting indeed. And let's get that loaded up. I was actually considering not smoking it tonight because just the mood I'm in, it seemed more like a comfortable second pipe of Haunted Bookshop might be in order, but what the heck. We got it here. And since Couch wanted Clan and he's responsible for this, it's the next best thing we can do. It is Ken Byron Venture's Samson and Delilah, which was the January tobacco of the month. I'm going to load that up and I'll show you the pipe in just a moment. Hillbilly Piper says he got 8 ounces of Thanksgiving Day. It was the worst thing he ever tried to smoke. Would rather have Borkum Riff. Wow. So tell us what you really think, Donnie. I kind of like. Well, I've had good and bad years with Thanksgiving Day. So I'll just leave it at that. Depends on the year. My little Phil Rivera apple. I think it's an apple, Phil. Stem on straight. And that is filled with Simpson and Delilah now. You're thinking, Donnie? You're thinking about what you really think? Include the Bob's Chocolate Flake next week? I'll see if I can dig it out, Patrick. An apple Levant? Maybe. I've never liked Borkum Riff, Gary. Even back when I smoked Captain Black White, I couldn't. Borkum Riff just never sat well with me. I had a good friend that only smoked Borkum Riff. And I met him, I mean, that was a long time ago, and met up with him, oh, I don't know, 6 or 8 years ago, something like that, and went to smoke some pipes, and he pulled out Borkum Riff. It's never going to change. Which is great. I think there's something really beautiful about that consistency. Creators putting in a vote for Captain Black Platinum. Can't say I've ever had Captain Black Platinum. Can't say I've ever had any Captain Blacks other than the white, because when I tried to smoke the white in later years, it was just unpleasant to me. Oh, Phil, that sounds like it would be fun. Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to take a look at that. Oh, yeah, the control board thing is a real pain. Sorry you had to go through that. Yeah, Flint Hill, I could see that. Could see how Borkham Riff might be a false start. But then again, there's a lot of guys that start with it and just love it. Everybody's different, like we said earlier. At least those brain cells went out happy, Doug. That's an interesting pairing there, Sailor. Well, not pairing, but combination. Borkham Riff and Balkan Sabrani White. Kind of two ends of the spectrum there. You didn't even get the blonde, Lord Hogarth? Gee, what's the point? Oh, that's interesting, Phil. So Borkham was one of the first imported aromatics back in the day, Phil says. All right, the Smooth Piper has finished up his haunted bookshop, and now he's got Prince Albert in his gray woody lumberman. Very nice. Super green, too. Travis, good for you to unlurk there, buddy. He loves LJ Peretti Cuban Mixture Blend, Blend W, Blend 102, Blend 92, and No Name, to list a few. Some do have the floral perfumey note to it. Yeah, the Peretti does have its own unique flavor, uh, but he enjoys it. Well, good, Travis. Glad you came out of the shadows there, buddy. Ron Hardcracker has an unopened tin and 1 inch Edgeworth with a match striker on it. That's pretty cool. That went by too quickly there. What's that antique small tin that's... Oh, okay, so it's a small tin that has the match striker. That is really cool. Couch is going out to the cold garage to smoke a pipe. Well, you deserve that after depriving Ilva of a burger. Can you believe the man ate a burger in front of Ilva and didn't offer her one? It's hard to get that image out of your head, isn't it, creator? Gary's got 4th generation freehand with vanilla custard. Very nice, Gary. Hey, Lord Hogarth, at least the golden retriever is loyal. Smoke and say it's got some Burley Flake number 3. Very nice. Couch, you could live down here, but you have to share it with the Sprickets. That's the only catch. Well, I'm thinking of it. We got a Larry Black at Tampa tonight, and saw on Instagram this past week that Larry's been having some health issues. Don't know the details, but he had to cancel going to the St. Louis Pipe Show because of that. And so just keep him in mind. He's He's a real great guy. He's made a great contribution to the YTPC with his tampers and everything. So, yeah, keep him in thoughts and prayers. I'm sure it would be appreciated for whatever health issues he might be dealing with. Doug said you have a real treasure, Ronnie. I bet you do. You are a treasure, my friend. Chris is asking if I like any aromatic blends. There's a couple that I do enjoy. I do like Cornell and Deal Autumn Evening, and I know that's a polarizing one, but I like it. I also like Dan Tobacco Honeydew Vanilla, I believe is the name of it. That's an interesting, very natural tasting aromatic. Patrick Grand, Low Country Natural Virginia and Burley, and his 673 Fantasia is next up. Sounds good. Yes, thank you guys. Larry is a good guy. He is. And if you ever get a chance to get to a pipe show and meet him, he's a wonderful guy to meet in person too. All wraps moving on to Captain Earl Night Watch. Oh, good deal, Ronnie. Madeira Gold was another ship store find. These Navy store finds, Gary. Oh, I'm sure Larry's got some great stories, Ron. I had a saw Larry at a pipe show, and we were sitting next to one another at the bar. And Larry told me a story about this tree that was cut down on his property that he turned into a table. And that's basically the story. There was a tree cut down on his property, he turned it into a table. But the way he told the story, I was absolutely enthralled. They're just the details and all the ins and outs and the history of the tree and the things that he found as he was milling the wood and stuff. It was fascinating. The Briar Gecko, greetings to you. Travis asks, has anyone had Wilkie's Wall Street? I've had some Wilkie's Burley, but I can't quite remember what it was. Wall Street sounds familiar. We were talking earlier about the Hearth and Home Burley cake and how that had a funny flavor to me, and the Wilkie stuff had that same kind of flavor. I don't know if it was exactly the same, but I kind of had the same experience with that. Uh, Good tobacco, though. Good leaf. Magic 2025 has been crazy. It's only just begun, buddy. But yes, it has been. Been a wild month already. Yeah, no question, creator. He was a very skilled storyteller. And the great thing about him is I don't think he thought of himself that way. He was just being him, you know, and just talking about the stuff that he liked talking about. So that made him very down to earth and likable. Yes, that's the one I was talking about, Phil. The great leaf, but that topping just yeah. And what's the Burley light without a bite? I don't know who makes that, but that same experience I've had with that. That stuff was unsmokable in my opinion. And I know there's folks that love it, but he did definitely change over the years, Phil. Yeah, it'd settle in for sure. And it's interesting to go back and watch some of the things he tried. You know how he used to do like shout out type videos, and got to the point where I think the community had grown so much that it wasn't possible to keep up. Um, yeah, he tried various different things over the years. How he got into live streaming, that that was an interesting time too. Was that a lane blend, Peter? Yeah, I don't remember, but it wasn't good stuff. I agree, Sailor. We got a lot more tobacco now than we used to. With the mucho bite, yes. Should indeed, Doug. He was ahead of the curve, Rich, and I don't talk about him much because I don't I'm very I'm very sensitive about people thinking that I tried to like, take over in that slot or something, and that was not my intention. In fact, I never really wanted to do this. I did this initially just as a way to give people an opportunity to get together and remember John. We did like a wake type thing. It was the first real live stream that I did. And it was just as COVID was starting and all that, and there was just this demand for it. And I never thought that I'd keep doing it, to be honest. I didn't like it at first. I didn't understand live streams. I really didn't. Now I love it. I mean, I really do enjoy it greatly. But the truth is, if it wasn't for John, or if John was still doing this, I wouldn't be doing this. There's no way I'd be doing this. But he was a very different person, different time, and there's just no way that what I do is anything close to what John did. So, but I gotta always admit and let people know that if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be doing this. In fact, if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be still doing YouTube, because he got me through some tough times. Yeah, Lukester, well, you know, you don't have to root for the Eagles, but if you don't, you who wants to see that happen again? Come on. Ah, thank you, Phil. That means a lot to me. It is a big stream tonight, Michael. Yeah, I think we had up to 80 at one point, so don't know why, but I'm happy that folks are tuning in. Yeah, Phil, and that's a lot of the reason why I did it too, and I think I needed it as well. It wasn't just purely altruistic on my part. I needed to talk to somebody and get outside, at least virtually. Remember the Houston Oilers? Yeah, I remember them. Yeah, guys, if you're here, do hit the thumbs up, and not to sound like the YouTube guy begging, but if you subscribe and hit that notification bell, you'll know when these happen again. Which you really don't need to do, because they always happen at 8 o'clock on Friday nights. But hey, it'll remind you. You can't chop your papa up in Massachusetts and then get up and go out for a walk? That's an interesting song, Doug. Papa Bear, how you doing there, buddy? And of course, the night that we get a big record turnout is the night that I'm not feeling very chatty and I don't have any good topics. So hopefully, if you stuck around this long, you'll tune in again next week where, oh heck, who am I kidding? It's not going to be much different. But if you tune in on Sunday, I do a recorded video where it's not really much different. So, Red Morrison, thanks for joining us, buddy. Thank you, Red. I appreciate that. You have a great weekend, my friend. Flint Hill wants to move the Chiefs to North Korea. Favorite movie with pipe smoking? Ah, that's a good one. Oh, Lizzie Borden's story. Gotcha. Gotcha, Doug. Okay. Now it all makes sense. I just watched my favorite movie with pipe smoking last week. It was Godzilla King of the Monsters, the American version with Raymond Burr. But lots of good ones. Lots of good ones. How about them Eagles indeed, Big Dave? Phil, I don't see the way I've got this set up, I don't see a number. So I can't tell you. Ah, Mr. Blanding builds his dream house. That's another good one. Oh, David G. Lord of the Rings. My goodness. That's too easy. Lukester, just call him Kermit. It makes me laugh every time I hear somebody do that. Ron, it would be great if Sarge started making some of those videos again. Absolutely. Michael, I can't watch the House of Svengoolie. I do not like those characters, with the exception of Nostalgia Ferratu, who I think is quite funny. Um, but when I watch those three together, it's just too, I don't know, kind of childish, and I'm afraid that they're planning for Rich Koza's retirement, and that's what we're going to be left with. In which case, I'll just watch Creature Features. Sherlock Holmes and the House of Fear. Yeah, there's so many good ones. I saw White Christmas. A couple other ones went by there. Any Western with Lee Van Cleef. Yeah, there's just so many good ones. But not any new ones. You know, Lukester, that's the only thing that would get me to watch the halftime show. I haven't watched the halftime show in like 15 years. When it comes on, I just leave. My wife watches it. I leave. She calls me when it's over. Rob Link says The Stranger. Edward G. Robinson has a pipe in his hand constantly. I think I remember that one, Rob. Lord Hogarth, I do not know that Sarge video, but that sounds hilarious. It sounds like Sarge. You're right, Doug. Myrna Loy kind of puts Mr. Blandings over the top. Yeah. Yeah, David, I missed it. I certainly heard about it, but I missed it. Jacques Tati film. My uncle, Michael K, says he smokes a long Canadian pipe constantly, and it's very funny. I don't know that one, Michael. I will have to look that up. But I do believe we're getting close to the end here. Oh, magic. Huh. I forgot that we had that. Thank you, my friend. That's very kind of you. I had completely forgot that that was even possible because I turned off monetization. I didn't know that you could still. Well, thank you. That is, I very much appreciate that, my friend. Still got a little bit to go here. Sarge bought all the apple pies so that the loud child couldn't get any. That is great. Holiday Inn was a good one, Patrick. Yes. James Stidle, I heard about the whole Prince Purple Rain thing, but never saw it. We're getting close. I will relight one more time. Any new pipes catch my eye online? Asked Magic. Magic, I have not been in the market for new pipes. Although I will say, if you watch my Sunday videos a couple weeks ago, you saw me with that merchant service Lavat. It's a really nice pipe. I've been smoking that quite a bit, trying to break it in. And it's breaking in nicely. Greg does have those pipes on his website now, merchant service pipes. So if you're interested in them, they're pretty reasonably priced and really a nice pipe. So that would be my answer to that, although it's not a recent thing, and I only know it because I go back and watch the video from 2 weeks ago or so. Millennial Codger, good evening. We're just wrapping up, my friend, but it's good to see you. Well, with that, folks, I do think I'm going to draw this to a close. So I will finish my beer and wish you all a good evening. Highlight of my week, as always. Great seeing you all. Great that so many folks showed up this week. And if this is your first time, I hope you'll tune in next week. We do this every Friday at 8 p.m. I'll be back on Sunday with something. We'll see. Yeah, so everybody take care. And until next time, be good.